Good morning. Here we are.
Good morning.
Let's see. Let's make sure this party starts. Everything's good. Everything is good. And hopefully we'll have some friends join us. I've got my chat up. This is an experiment.
In YouTube? The chat in YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Okay.
Chat and YouTube. And we'll give it a minute. Hopefully we have some folks join us. And if not, you can catch the replay because we will live forever into infamy here on YouTube because they don't delete stuff like Facebook does, but we'll be on Facebook for a little while too. So,
Well, at least as of
um,
today, those are the rules.
as of today, you know what?
Who knows tomorrow?
I think the interesting thing is Google is one thing and Facebook is another. That's Meta and Marky Zuckerberg and all of his friends over here, and then we have
Marky, are you
Google Land for
personal
YouTube.
friends?
And whatever they're doing over there in Metaland, more power to them. Just ain't I don't believe that they believe in customer service. That's what I think. Okay, okay. Alexa is Google friendly.
Yeah, everything's listening, so let's be
Everything is
careful.
listening. Yeah, and we got the iPhone here. It's picking it up. Everything's going on. So, but Lori, it's Monday
Hi.
morning. It's 9 o'clock and well, 9:02. Here we are.
It's like deja vu. Like we used to meet on Mondays at nine
Absolutely.
o'clock.
And you know what? I am so happy we're here. Um, you know, Pam Pedigo, and I know she's a fan of the show, she posted something on Facebook that I was looking at this morning, and it was a picture of this toddler having his photo taken in front of the World Trade Center right when it was starting to collapse.
Wow.
And the wait a second. Okay. We have comments coming in. Inez says she can't do. Oh, we've got somebody in the chat. Sorry about that. This is kind of maiden voyage for us. So hang tight with us, and I'm doing a little troubleshooting while we go here. Let's see. All righty. Inez, I just changed the settings. Let me know if and anybody who's having trouble, you can always send me a text. I'm a realtor, easy to find on the internet if you need my phone number. Just go to Facebook. Um, but yeah, just if you're having trouble, because we may be having trouble. So far, so good. We might be.
You
Um,
know, it
but
just could be. It could be.
yeah,
Things just don't
and
always work the way we plan.
yeah, really, the old dog's still trying to learn some new tricks, and every time I figure out how to do it, it changes on me. So now I give my dog a little more grace when I'm trying to teach her something.
Okay.
Anyhow, back to
Yeah.
Pam's Facebook post. So it was really interesting. It was different people got stopped along the way doing different things. And like one person got a blister and they from a pair of new shoes. So they stopped at the pharmacy to pick up Band-Aids. So they were late to work and didn't get to the World Trade Center when they should have been, because if they had, they would have probably been dead. And it was just a list of different people, somebody's sick, somebody's kid, had to go to daycare, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like things happen for a reason. And I've always been a firm believer in that. I tell my clients, if something comes up on an, inspection or an escrow falls apart or something like that, it happened for a reason. Something better will come along, and I'm a firm believer in that. And the reason why I bring this up, Lori's looking at me like, I have no idea what she's talking about, is we were kind of thrown off Facebook. It wasn't our choice, and it really took a long time to figure out how to get back here. But there was actually a reason for all of that because Lori and I have had a lot of life going on since then. Lori's grandbabies, how old are your grandbabies now?
1 and 3.
And what did you used to do on Mondays?
Coffee and compliance. And then try to watch one grandkid while doing coffee and compliance.
And it's not an easy thing to do.
No,
And, we tried, and we did pretty well. Lori was really juggling. You talk about those plate
literally.
spinners, back on Ed Sullivan's show. Boy, am I dating myself? If you're a Gen Z or something, want to know about Ed Sullivan, go Google it. YouTube it, excuse me. Lori had a lot of stuff going on, and I had a lot of stuff going on. And Mondays, life just was not working out for either one of us. I mean, we could have forced it, but at what cost? And honestly, I'm happy. We took some time off. We got, now your daughter is fortunate enough that she is spending Monday taking care of her kids all on her own terms, and that works out perfect. My life is such that I know I have a predictable schedule now. I don't watch babies. He's not close enough, but boy, yeah, since we started this, neither one of us had grandbabies. Now
Right,
between
when
the
we
two of us, we
started.
got three grandbabies. So leave us alone for a little bit, look what happens.
Well, we didn't have anything to do with that, but
Well, we didn't, but our lives did. Our lives did. They were
yeah.
just parts of our life. And, now we have a predictable schedule again. And I think you're going to see us every other Monday. Only thing we might have to watch out for is a time variable because I know our next scheduled time, I just got a notice in from NAR for my committee meeting at time that we do this. So I'm going to double check that. But what do we do? Maybe we do it an hour earlier. Maybe we do it an hour later. We'll be sure that we stay on a schedule for you guys.
Well, we'll try our best.
We'll try our best
Yeah.
because we still got a lot of life going on.
Yeah, but I think things are much more predictable now, and so that makes a difference. But there's been a lot of things going on in the industry as well, and there was a period of time where when this started at the start of the pandemic, we were, you know, one of a few small groups of people that were actually communicating widely, like we were, having the reach that we had. And as we went through the industry changes a year ago, um, we kept kind of quiet about it because there was just a lot of controversy with it, a lot of confusion with it. We didn't want to add to the noise. So I still kind of look back and think, gosh, we should have said something. And then Lisa reminds me, maybe it's better we didn't. And I mean, reality check. I had one of my broker clients reach out to me last week and shared some text messages from an agent from a national brand who just did not know anything about how to fill out a BRBC, why it was needed, when it was needed, how you negotiate for compensation. And it was just laughable because you're like, it's freaking been a year. How the heck?
Business
Where,
been slow, huh?
where have you been, Mr. Agent at a national brand who, by the way, the brand had to pay out of pocket. So I would have thought the brand would have really been educating.
One would have thought.
Yeah. So it's funny to me. I mean, it's sad. It's it's ironic, but it's like sad that here we are a year later. The reality is the real estate world didn't explode. I mean, every now and then I accidentally scroll over the video, the one coffee and compliance we did like a week after the settlement was live, August 17th last year, and you're like hiding under the table. Can I come out now? That is, if you guys haven't seen that video, that was the best one ever. It was just so funny because Lisa's like, the real estate apocalypse, is it over? And I'm like, it's done.
And look, we're all still here.
We
We're
all
all still
survived.
standing. And it really wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. I mean, yeah, some changes, but the reality is, the speculation. Lisa and I were talking about this the other day. The speculation of how the industry would basically, like, agents would be uh, not needed anymore. So a lower percentage of consumers would use agents. The stats are not showing that at all. It's holding strong just as before. Compensation would go down. That's not the case either. And so it's really interesting when you think about the speculation of things. Now I believe that the industry is still really ripe for a lot of change. I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of people who are really more forward thinking, and I do think we're up for more change. but I don't think everybody's quite ready. And so, I've been having these conversations and positioning myself and our business where it's like, no, we're gonna be more relevant than some of these other companies who think it will always be business as usual, which kind of leads into, I think, the Inman conversation.
Yeah, yeah, we spent some time a couple of weeks ago at the Inman Connect down in San Diego, and um, I'm going to preface this with a little history. Why do Lisa and Lori feel that they should go to Inman? Because we go to enough conferences.
All year long.
Yeah, I think 6 weeks this year we will be at a trade association industry business meeting slash conference. Education, 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 meet, learn, brainstorm, make changes, make the real estate world a better place. So that's what we normally do. But every now and then we like
Very
to kind of
fun.
go out in the wild. So our choice is we go to Inman because way back when there was a friend of ours, and maybe he'll watch this video, and then if he does, he can come and just kind of give me a little slap next time he sees me. Um, is our friend Tim. Our friend Tim, who's now in North Carolina, would go to Inman and he'd come back. And you would think he just found out that the world is going to explode in 8 days, 7 hours, and 22 minutes. And he'd come back with his hair on fire. That's what we'd always say. Tim's hair's on fire. He's back from Inman. And we're like, what is going on? What is going on at this conference that's making our friend come back? Just, I'm gonna die. Blah!
We're all going to be out of business. The industry is just going to disappear.
That's right. And what year was what do you think that was?
Maybe 2016, 2017.
Yeah, probably somewhere around there. About close to a decade.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know.
Sheesh.
And so finally one year, Lori and I said, we got to go see this for ourselves. Now, granted, Lori was local association president, and I think she was getting sent. And,
No, we had already bought our tickets.
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. You went the
because
next year.
because it was in Las Vegas, and we're like, we'll go to Las Vegas.
We'll go to Las Vegas. Was that 2021 when my car got towed from the taco place?
No, I think the first year we went was 2019,
Okay, yeah.
18 or
Well,
19. I
you know
think.
what? The car being towed at the taco place is a story for another day. The world's most
Yeah.
expensive tacos. Were they worth it? Anyhow, getting back to
Had some fun times.
I don't know. We were kind of panicked when it was all happening.
That particular moment. Yeah.
And
Anyways.
yeah, I mean, it was a new car and the whole dashboard's lit up like a freaking Christmas tree. But, and then coming out, where's my car? Anyhow, I digress.
Yeah.
So we go to Inman. And Lori, what do you remember about your first Inman?
That first Inman, I was waiting for my hair to be on fire, so I was a little nervous. And we knew there was a main stage. We knew there were other rooms with some specific tracks, and so we were trying to figure out, how to see everything, divide and conquer. It was honestly like such a different experience than going to CAR and NAR. And what I loved about it and why we keep going is there's just these thought-provoking conversations. It's industry practitioners who are giving their input in their opinion of what they think the future of the business will be 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Here's what I think. And then you've got other professionals who are researchers, who are data collectors. They collect data about the industry, and maybe they're economists, but they think like economists, and they provide data to describe what they think the industry will be like. And then you have the tech people who come in and talk about, how they're going to solve all the problems of the industry, and we
It
all
will
need
not be needed. You
We
will
will
not
not be
be
needed.
needed.
And you sit there and you sort of absorb all of this information and you're like, huh. So it's like a really weird movie that you watch where you're sitting there and you're like, huh, this is kind of weird. And then you think about it for days after because you're like,
Like, what's happening in the plot right now?
yeah,
And then
you're
you
like
have to
lost.
digest it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you think about it for days. So, I even like submitted a testimonial. It was on Inman website for a couple of years. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it had, basically my thought was it's a blend of education and technology, but really the essence of my comment was how thought-provoking it was. And so we would leave there just inspired, like, oh my gosh, like let's think outside the box and what can we do different and what will the industry look like? Because honestly, like this industry has been pretty much the same for 100 plus years, right? There's
Well,
no,
we're not getting paid in chickens and bottles of wine anymore.
well,
And
true,
again, that could be good lately with the economy and inflation and all.
but, price of eggs have come way down again. So,
Yeah,
but
but
wine, good wine's expensive though. But the reality is like, we would be really energized and, I get into these periods of time where I'm like stagnant and I hate it. Like I know when I'm not feeling inspired, it's just day to day to day to day doing the same old thing. And when I'm not feeling inspired, it's kind of dull. So I love going there because then I feel inspired. These conversations I've been having lately with people like have really inspired me to take a look at what we are doing. And as much as the industry doesn't really change, like it has I mean, I look back on my 23 years in the business and a lot has changed. And a lot will continue to change. So that's normally what I get out of it.
so what's a little different about this year's?
This year, the agenda was very AI heavy. So I was like, oh God.
I know I kept thinking about how do I even talk about this year's? It's like AI and AI and AI. Oh my.
Yeah, so I went in feeling like, okay, I use ChatGPT a little bit and I recognize like every website I'm on has AI in it. Like we've been dealing with that for a decade. Like that to me is not new, but I'm not using it in my day to day. When I go on ChatGPT, it's because I'm reading something, studying something, trying to make heads or tails out of something. And it's usually, wow, these two things sound very similar. Can you compare and contrast for me? And it very quickly gives a summary. So, I teach for a couple of colleges, you guys know, and it's like my students are using it for their writing assignment, and it pisses me off because they're not thinking. And so my mindset is, okay, when you use it, you're not thinking. You're not thinking for yourself. And so I don't want any part of that. And so going in, I was like a little jaded, like, oh man, this is not going to be cool. But the reality is I took a ton of notes. I recognize that, hey, if we're not using it, agents who are will beat us. So we need to be using it. And you can find a way to use it that's comfortable for you. And a good friend of mine had mentioned he had the same feelings about AI as I did. And we met for breakfast one day and he was telling me how he's using it. And he's like, look, if I had a real life person who was my assistant, I would say, hey, can you go look these things up for me? And the assistant would go look them up, come back, give them to him. He'd take a look, he'd verify, and then he'd use them for whatever he was using. And one example was a newsletter. Can you go find some websites of some cool places in whatever area and bring it back to me? Here's the links. He validated them and he put his newsletter together. And so he says, to me, he says the way I use it is it's my assistant. I'm always going to double check my assistant. He's like, so it's not a question of, hey, the AI is my new assistant and I'm not going to verify anything. So that gave me a better understanding. But I took a lot of notes on the AI sections, and there's a lot of things I didn't really know, and they kind of painted the picture of how things work. So that was pretty interesting to me after all.
Yeah, and then I think that there's a certain understanding you have to have about AI, just like anything new. You know, my son and I were off walking the dog a day or two ago, and he works in the law field. And there's, a lot of stuff that, people go in and try to research something and, it's like, okay, well, I'll let AI do it because whatever it is that you're using is going to draw from only that base of stuff that it knows. Because I really don't think anybody's out there really sharing their AI, because why would they? It's proprietary. They want to have the best search engine, the best amount of information that they possibly can. Now, and I think that you really have to understand we're in kind of an infancy. As much as we like to say, oh my God, it's here and it's taken over. It's like, remember the dot-com bubble? I'm going back in time. I'm going back in the Wayback Machine. Back when I think it was pets.com was like on every TV commercial that you could find way back in the day. And all of these companies were rushing to make, stuff that could be sold on the internet, and the world wasn't ready for it. And we had the dot-com bust that turned into a recession. Was it anything like the Great Recession? No, but it was a recession nevertheless. It did affect the tech field because they just weren't quite ready. Another example, QR codes. How many of us actually ever used a QR code before the pandemic? Because they were there. They were there,
Yeah. They
but
were
we
there
didn't use
a
it.
long time ago.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
an
And that
office
dot-com
manager.
bust was a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But now we look, the world has changed, things have caught up. We're all shopping on the internet. Amazon wasn't even a thought back during the dot-com thing. I think they were just maybe starting their bookstore aspect. Um, and now look where Amazon has gone. And, because now we can do these things. We use the QR codes. But you expect to get your menu off of a QR code now. I remember, Lori, when you were, I am not doing a QR code. Nope, 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 nope.
You still
And
don't love it.
I mean, I still don't like it, but it's like, okay, yeah, my phone's still here. I didn't die, 5 years ago using them. But things just have their natural progression. AI, in my ever so humble opinion, and this is just my opinion, is we are really in the infancy, and you have to understand that old adage back when I was doing computer programming classes back in 1980 something, but it was garbage in, garbage out. And you always have to remember the information's only as good as what's going into the system. And that's why my son can't count on it for the legal stuff because it's only got the information that AI, whatever we call them, has. And if it's being fed bad information, it's only going to spit out bad information. And I hear the same thing from my gentleman friend who's in a different industry. This very high level scientific metallurgical kind of stuff. And they were talking about, hey, well, we can go into AI and the information's like all wrong, but we want to get our information in there so people are getting the right information. But how do we keep our information proprietary to us? And it's a huge issue for them. We're over here in real estate land, and I think it's great that you can make it do these things, make it do the task. The scary part is when you rely on it to make a property description and you don't check it. And you rely on it to send emails to your clients and you don't verify it. Or worse yet, you don't even read it. So you just know what you just sent to your clients. Because then if your clients come back and say, hey, I heard you said that the market was this, that, and the other thing. And so can you tell me how we got to this and that? And what is that other thing? And you're looking at them going, and that's what I think we have to watch out because our value proposition is what we have in here, not what we can make the computer think. That's my thoughts. Lori, I don't know how, and
No, I
that's what
agree.
I got out of Inman as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think our value really is in our knowledge and our ability to explain the market, but we can't go on a site and say, tell me what the market's doing. Like you have to do your own research and you have to Lisa does this every day. She's looking at a specific area and she's documenting every single day for I don't know how many years, how many new homes on the market, days, I don't know all the things she tracks, but you could ask her and she's like, well, compared to 2 weeks ago, compared to a month ago, like she knows her numbers because she's actively looking at them every single day. And I admire that because I don't do that because I'm not representing buyers and sellers every day. And so I don't do that. But there's other resources. We've got Stephen Thomas, we've got Jordan Levine, we've got Lawrence Yun. They all put together all these great sets of data. Now, I would like to remind all of the economists out there, if you talk a little slower and have a few less graphs, those of us in the back might understand it a little bit better and internalize it. But the funny thing is, like, I mean, I watch some of them and I'm like, dude, like, can I slow this down? Oh shoot, it's live. Like, I can't slow it down.
The
Because I want
replay, put it on half speed.
well, I mean, I can't do like the Friday ones they're not recorded, but yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to truly understand, how the GDP and how this and how the labor numbers and all of it, how it relates to the economy as a whole. And so that's my pitch for all you economists out there. Please slow it down.
Well, if Lawrence shows up on my committee meeting, which happens to be, yes, exactly at our scheduled time for our next program, which we'll talk about this towards the end here, I will let them know because it's a lot. And there's resources out there that, again, the AI may not be able to pick it up. I watched a magnificent presentation. I want to say it was last week. It was NAR's global group, and it was a joint webinar between the research division and the global division. Matt Christopherson from research. I can't remember the gentleman's name from global, but it was really, really super interesting stats on who's buying where. Now, granted, it's a little behind the times because of the fact, well, life is changing every day around this country. So, what's happening today may not be exactly what was happening in their report, but the survey was very interesting about, who's buying, where they're buying, why are they buying it, how are they buying it, and also too that was the inbound, but also the outbound. Where are Americans going? Why? How much are they paying? And it was really quite fascinating. And we'll make a note maybe to see if we can get our friend Matt to maybe make an appearance. And I thought it was a fascinating report because everybody has this preconceived notion of what's happening in the global real estate arena. And we're actually, one thing we decided when we were at Inman was we want to do um, a program, and of course, I just had it. Now I just lost it. Senior
I don't know what
Citizen
you're talking
Moment.
about.
Um, MLS in global, how we're the envy of the world,
Yeah.
and we're over here trying to blow it up. Now that's like the royal we, maybe not Lori and I, or Lori and I, excuse me. I got it stacked on my screen. Um, there's a lot going on. Again, it's information, information, information. What's happening? If you're relying on, Facebook groups, hey, fact check us. I'll be the first person to say we are not always going to be right, as much as it pains me to say that. But we get our information from here, there, and everywhere. But we generally deal in reputable information, not, hey, I saw this on Facebook, so it must be true, which is scary how many people say, well, I'm part of what do I want to call them?
We don't even want to.
Laboratory Jackets group. Yeah, I know that's bad. But then, they take all of that as gospel. They're throwing out questions regarding ethics, regarding the law, regarding whatever to this random group of people that you have no idea where they are, what they do, what is the goal of the group? Is it just for eyeballs, just to say, hey, we've got 10,000 members or whatever? Hey, we got 1,100 members or just a scooch underneath, but we're here for education. We're here to spread the information that we glean from industry activity, from what we're seeing out in the field. But, everything's done with we're not here for eyeballs. We're here to help people. And I can say that I think I'm speaking for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's quality over quantity. We know that the people that join us, a lot of them are also involved in the industry. And so, anyone who's attending these same conferences that we are, can chime in and, correct us if necessary. But yeah, I mean, those other groups out there, just I'm not even a part of them. And when I hear people talk about them, I just get really nervous because it's just there are different laws in different states. And so a specific practice, a question about a specific practice, you can't just throw it out there to people at random. And it's just, yeah, it kind of stresses me out. So I don't even belong to those groups. I don't want to scroll past them and then, browse and then listen to the garbage. So
Yeah, and there's a lot of it out
I mean, I'm
there.
sure there's some good stuff there too, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's lots of groups that are great for advertising, that are great for, bouncing, marketing ideas. But when you're getting into the nuts and bolts of the business, it goes back to, if you are not a broker, go ask your broker. Even if you're a broker associate somewhere, go ask your broker. And if you're a broker and you don't know, go out and educate yourself. And a lot of people mistake, well, they have a broker's license, so they know what they're doing. Well, yeah, and there's people with medical licenses that get sued for malpractice all the time. For whatever it is, and it's hard. It's a lot to learn. I mean, we're very fortunate that we're kind of immersed in a lot of it, just because we made that choice to do so. A lot of people don't make that choice to do so. And when you go to Inman, you don't hear the stuff like the professional standards, the MLS rules, and all of the legislative stuff that goes on at our industry trade association levels. But you also are getting tips from people saying, hey, you know what? I've got, so many followers on Instagram and this is what I do and blah, blah, blah. Now, again, some of them have a lot. Others say they have a lot and they really don't have that much. So, which that was kind of a surprising little fact that I checked out. One of the guys that they left for last, it's like, oh my God, this is this and that's that. And you need to do this. You got 3 seconds for a hook. And then after that, you got to give a question. They give them a question. They got to think, but they only have a second to think. How are you going to hook them in? And so I go onto this guy's, Instagram account, go, oh my God, this has got to be amazing. I have to see the content this guy's posting to have all of these followers and to be this big time speaker. And like his videos, he does too much. He has maybe 25, 35 views of these reels that probably take him how much time and effort to make? Occasionally he'll get a big hit. He might have one go viral here and there or whatever. And the last one was about a bodybuilder. Did he talk about bodybuilding in Lori? I didn't think so.
Recall that.
No. So, it's one of those things that just because they say this and just because they do this, they're probably getting paid to be there. They're probably getting paid by somebody. They found out that they had a viral video one time and now they're the poop. And, so everybody needs to hear them, and yes, Tanner, you're right. Quality over quantity, just like we said before with our little group here. And the same for your content production. And you know what? If you're going to do content production, yeah, I know I love watching these people that do, something silly or whatever. There's this one gal that makes these videos that is hysterical. She's like this Gen Z gal, and she goes and she'll put herself in different spots in the house, and she has her little microphone and she talks like this. Yeah, she just kind of whispers into the microphone and she just insults everything, either about the house or the people that live there, and it is hysterical. Would I want to do business with her? No. Who is she? Can't tell you. Where's she at? Don't know. She good for a chuckle? Yeah.
Okay.
So Yeah, if you're gonna, whatever you spend time on, whether it's AI, content creation, going to a conference, learning something new, check the quality level because that's what you're going to be judged on, and I think we walk into Inman expecting exactly that. We now know why our friend's hair caught on fire because you walk into the sessions where the tech people, prop tech, and I love that term. Everything's, whatever the first syllable is, added on to tech. I mean, I'm sure hairdressers have hair tech. Eyeglass people have optic tech. We have prop tech.
We also have FinTech, MarTech.
You name it, there's a tech out there for everybody. But these people are trying to sell products. So of course they want you to think that you're not going to survive if you don't have their product. You're going to be put out of business because this is coming to get you. And some people, it really scares the bejesus out of them. I just sit there and say, you know what, you better have something really damn good to sell me before I spend 30 seconds of my time listening to you.
Yeah, I felt this time there was less of that because I remember a couple years ago we went and it was literally like one panel of tech people and they're talking about how they're going to replace all of us. And then the next panel would be like brokers and CEOs and they're talking about the relationship. This business is about relationships. And it was just so extreme opposite. And
Yeah.
I wish they would have put them on, the same panel so they could duke it out on stage because that would have been entertaining.
Hey, that could be fun.
It would be fun. So the other thing I would like to mention about Inman is they had this other track that was for teams, and we were a little like over some of the general session, the main stage stuff. It just wasn't that interesting. Well, number one, some of it was like should have been in the CEO track when they're talking about mergers
Mergers and
and
acquisitions.
acquisitions at
Mergers
this.
and acquisitions.
Yeah, at a super high level, and I've been involved with mergers and acquisitions, and it's like this was way above my head. And I'm thinking, do you know your audience? Your audience is are salespeople from big brokerages and small brokerages, independent brokers who are not going to be involved in these level of mergers and acquisitions, and the CEO people were the ones on stage. So it's just the wrong audience. So we jumped over to the team track, and that was actually really interesting. And what I want to say about it is, sometimes you think, oh, that's for teams. I'm not a team. But if you're a small brokerage, like that was ideal. I mean, you may not be a team, but the information that some of those panels were talking about were so relevant for small brokerages, mid-sized brokerages that I'm glad we moved over and started listening to some of those. And then we had a few of them that were really talking about the client experience and what they do and some of the amazing things they do. So,
And what was that one called?
Popsicle Hotline.
Popsicle Hotline. I felt so bad that people probably said, Popsicle Hotline? What do I want to, I'm not going to waste my time with that. I thought still to this day, it was the best talk ever. Engaging speaker. Brought his mom there to watch. She was in a wheelchair. She has had carotid artery surgery to remove a blockage. She has a big, band-aid on her neck, and she's just there lit up like a Christmas tree watching her son on stage. And honestly, if that was my son, I would be doing the same thing. He was just this vibrant, engaging gentleman, and probably 30s, somewhere in his 30s, I think, maybe early 40s. But he had a team. But his gift, I think he realized his gift is motivational speaking, and he did it in such a way. I mean, just such a way that you were just like, okay, okay, and very engaging. He's like, okay, what do you guys say on this side of the room? And, he made everybody move up to the front, which is something to remember if you're ever speaking to a crowd and everybody's like within scattered. Tell everybody come up to the front and don't start until they do, because he did it. And very few people I've ever seen have actually done it and got people to come up and be engaged. And what did he do next to get everybody kind of all pumped up? Because you and I are kind of hard to pump up in that regard, right?
Yeah, we don't get inspired by the cheerleader style. I don't remember.
Well, and but he, would play one side of the room against another, and he would ask a question, and he wouldn't continue until somebody gave him an answer. And he was just really super. As much as I hate ever saying this about anybody, high energy speaker that really was engaging. But we were all intrigued. What is this popsicle hotline? And the only thing he comes out with is this red phone,
A
and he puts
rotary phone.
a red rotary dial phone, and he just sits it on the table. Doesn't really say too much about it.
Mm-mm.
And, I'll just indulge you with just the Reader's Digest
Of
summary
course.
of the talk because I loved it. And, he was talking about how, how hard it is for his family to travel and they go to Disneyland and they have this experience and that experience. And the whole time he's talking about this, and of course, people are answering the different questions, but the whole time he's talking about this, he has pictures on the back of this 1950-ish apartment building. Nothing really to write home about. Maybe you might remember seeing some of those like when you were growing up. For me, it reminded a lot of where I grew up in Long Beach. And so he's got this picture of this bright yellow with white trim apartment building. Nothing spectacular by any means. And then there's another picture of this, looks like the inside of a studio apartment. Again, 50s era kind of. Nothing to write home about. You can see the bed in the front with just this nice little white, bedspread and just a sparse little apartment coffee counter or whatever. And so you're like going, why are you talking? Why you're talking and you got this and you got this and I don't understand. And he's like, well, this apartment building is the number 4 rated hotel in all of Los Angeles on TripAdvisor. It's called the Magic Castle, not to be confused with the Magic Castle, the club, where they do the magic tricks. This hotel is called the Magic Castle. Look it up, TripAdvisor, and it's the number 4 rated hotel in Los Angeles. This old apartment building painted yellow with little janky studios. Not, can't say anything about the studios. I've been in it. But this is a big family destination because of the service. And a couple of the services was you had a menu in your room of snacks that you could get when you come in for the day. And it's not just like, a bag of peanuts or whatever. It was quite the extensive list. I wish I would have taken a copy of it because I'm looking at that going, damn, I'll take a huge bag of M&Ms and a bag of potato chips and some dip to go with it. It was a nice touch. The other nice touch was they would do your laundry for you. And now, Lori, you've had to listen to me a lot. I did a cruise this summer. What was my favorite thing about the cruise?
The 12 loads of laundry they did for you.
Absolutely. Room service laundry, baby. I don't know how I'm ever going to go anywhere ever again in my life, except for I'm still finding little stickers on my clothes because they like seared it in. And 8018, that was my suite number, and I will never forget it because I'm like, what's that itch? Oh, 8018. Okay. Anyhow, but this, I mean, mine just came in a box. These are like lovingly packed bundles of craft paper with little twine and flowers tied into the twine and a little note on there, saying how much they appreciate you. And you're like, wow, that's really a nice touch. But Popsicle Hotline, what's that all about? You take your kids out to the pool and it's a hot day and they're like, Mom, I want a popsicle. I say, go over to that red phone over there. You pick up the phone, you say, Hi, I would like a double cherry popsicle, please. And out comes one of their employees, full uniform, white gloves, with a tray, delivering a popsicle to your kid in the swimming pool. The takeaway, if you haven't got it already, is you gotta give the service. And believe me, laundry, that whole laundry thing sticks in my head because I know how much I personally enjoyed it. And for this hotel to realize that people are going to pay the money for this service experience. Are the grounds the best? No. Are the rooms these super well appointed rooms? No. It's all about the service.
And it was memorable service. And he made a point to explain that, They could have very easily had a cooler sitting out there with popsicles where your kids could just walk up and get them if they wanted. But that wasn't good enough. They went that extra step where you make that phone call. It's really special. And then they bring it out, with the white gloves. Like, how amazing and memorable is that, especially for your kid? Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And that was the challenge that was put out to us. What's going to be your popsicle hotline moment for your clients? And he had a lot of examples of the things that you can go through and check, like what does your listing presentation look like? What does your buyer's presentation look like? What does your transaction checklist look like? What are you doing? How do you thank your clients once they sign a BRBC? Which, you know what, I never really thought about that, but they're under a lot of stress. They just don't know what they just did. Same with listing a home. What did I just commit to? I have to do this. And it was send them a gift specific to thanking them and letting them know that you're going to be there for them the entire time. And it was just amazing. Now, granted, full disclosure, have I implemented any of this? No. But it made me think for my next transaction, which I'm actually doing right now, is I always told myself, how nice would it be at the beginning of the week that I told my buyer or my seller exactly what to expect during the escrow process. Because when you're out looking, you're talking. When you're, trying to find a client to buy their place, or I shouldn't say client, a buyer to buy your client's property, you're talking. During the, escrow, we all take it for granted that people understand this process. And I can guarantee you, half the agents don't understand the process, let alone your clients. And now every Monday, I send an email and I'm saving it so I can just copy paste. And I've been actually doing that for a while now, but I've taken it up a notch and I go through. This is what we're expected to do here. Now, this is this and that is that. So don't worry about it because we're in this together. But it's just that let me explain to you what this week looks like so you can plan. Know that you're going to get some notary that you've never heard of in your life contacting you that you need to sign something now. Well, if you tell them that they're going to get a phone call from somebody and it's going to be this and it's urgent and they have to do it, then they're like, okay, phone's going to ring. Don't know when, don't know how, but my phone's going to ring. Which it sounds stupid and minor, but there's so many people that do not understand the process, and we expect them to, we assume they know the process. And don't assume they know the process. Don't assume everybody in the group that you're working with knows the process. And that is my first step to finding my popsicle hotline moments for my clients, but at least it's got me going in the right direction. And I implemented something that I had been meaning to do for the past year, and now I'm doing it. Lori, did you have a popsicle hotline moment?
Maybe I haven't really thought about it. I, I mean, I don't know. I probably have made some changes I just can't think of right now.
Well, it's Monday, and I know I have to send out an email, so for me,
Yeah, you
it's
pull the
right
rope, you
there.
send it out on Mondays.
But it's just a good opportunity. If there was anything that I took away from Inman, it was a reminder that I am in the service business. People say that we're in the sales business. That is a crock of you know what. I'm trying to keep this all PG and kid friendly. I'm not sure why. But the only thing we're selling, even though it sounds like we're a bunch of whores and we're not, the only thing we're selling is ourselves. You can't force somebody to buy a house. You can't force somebody to sell a house. You can't force your clients to do anything. After you have sold them on this is why you need to be working with me, you're technically your sales gets turned off. Yeah, do you need to know how to market? Absolutely. Is marketing different than sales? Absolutely. You don't walk around hearing people are getting a degree in sales from, a university. They get a degree in marketing because that's the art of selling something, not, hey there, I think you need a used car, so come on, come down to Honest Sam's, and I'm gonna sell you that car. That's the reputation we have, but that's not what we do, and we need to get that back out to the public. That yeah, my only sales job is for you to believe that I am the best choice for you. After that, you just got to know the process. You got to know how to market. You got to know how to hold hands. You got to know how to negotiate. There's so much we have to know. Sales is really not that big of a deal. That's my take.
Yep.
So we got 10 minutes, and I'm going to fill that 10 minutes real quick because I checked my calendar, and yes, I do have a National Association of Realtors Research Committee meeting, of which I am a proud member of the committee, um, at 9 o'clock next week. Not next week, on the week after that. Next week's Labor Day, and what we're going to do is every other week because that works out very well for both of our schedules and it also kind of falls kind of into the cadence of the meetings and everything. So, Lori, is 10 o'clock next week going to be okay? Or 8 o'clock? Check your calendar.
10 o'clock's better.
Okay, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. See you later, Tanner. Take care. I'm happy to see you.
Bye, Tanner.
Um, our friend Tanner, he wants to go hang with us. We got to do that. And Tanner's somebody we've met from association work. And one of these days, I want to do a field trip and go up to where Tanner actually sells because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump north of LA. And it's called Pine Valley Club, I think. And it's all these cabins out in the wilderness. So, yeah, we got to do a field trip, go visit Tanner. But anyhow, okay. So, the next broadcast, streaming, excuse me, showing my old age, um, is September 8th. We'll plan for 10 o'clock. We'll put it out in the internets. And that's the week before we go to our CAR meetings. So I would highly recommend that you join us for that meeting because we're going to tell you about a few things that you can catch that are being live streamed that start that week and you won't miss a thing. It'll be just like you're at the what is it, the Gaylord.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll be at
sorry.
the
So
Gaylord in Chula
the 13-year-old in me always comes out. Hey, Gaylord. Yeah.
Vista.
The 13-year-old moment there. But it's a brand new place in Chula Vista. It's where they're going to have Reimagine, the expo for the state. I would highly recommend putting it on your calendar for attending because you can just drive down for the day. Come see this fabulously huge, and we're hoping it's as fabulous as it is huge resort where we're going to be having our meetings.
Yeah, I think people should definitely consider going down to Reimagine at least for one day if they're not attending the CAR conference. One of my broker clients, they are actually they're taking a van and they've got a bunch of their agents and they're going down one of the days and they're just going to go as a group and it's a drive for them. So they're going to go together and I thought that was a great field trip idea. So recommend it for your offices.
That sounds like a great idea. And if you don't want to do the van, you can even do the train. Got to leave San Diego early though, so you can get home or come spend the night. Um, I know the train will get you down to downtown San Diego, and then after that, I think you hop on the trolley, and the trolley will get you there. Definitely check the internets and find out how to do it yourself because you know what? We have these things called cars, see, and we're going to take our cars because we have to be in charge of our own destiny. As much as I would love to take the train down, because we always say we're going to do it, we never have. How many years?
Yeah, it's
Like a decade.
well, I haven't been saying that long. I
My
don't want
first
to do that.
my first NAR expo that I ever went to, it was the year I was appointed an NAR director, but I'd never been. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go down there and see what the heck I just signed myself up for. And I went down to San Diego, and I think I was a director in 2016. So it was a decade ago. And I went down there and it was like, wow, wow, this is really big. I didn't expect it to be this big, but this is really big.
Yeah,
And,
forget
our
about it.
CAR meetings are big. Like we can't go to certain places because they don't have enough hotel rooms and conference rooms, meeting rooms for holding all of the stuff that we do for state. Now, granted, we have as many state directors pretty much as there are national directors, but national is just more of a reach. It's more of a global thing. You got people coming in from all over the world. You've got people coming in from all over the country, and it's huge. It is huge. Very overwhelming. If you guys ever need a tour guide to a certain extent, we can kind of, give you the, what's his name? Rick Steves, whatever he is, the guy who goes to Europe and tells you all the travel tips. Lori and I could be your travel guides, your travel advisors. Maybe we could make a buck off of this, Lori. I never thought about that. Just kidding. But it's fun if you can get to these things when they're local. And it kind of sounds like CAR is going to be having Reimagine what, either in Long Beach or San Diego from here on out.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So just kind of look for that in September, October. Just plan for a day or two, get the people from your office and come make a time of it.
Well,
And
this one's in September.
this one is in September. It is the week of Monday the 15th. I'm sure Reimagine starts on the 15th. Is that broker day?
Yeah, that's the prepaid day. So there's the broker conference. There's a couple other prepaid all day things. And then the Reimagine Expo is Tuesday and Wednesday.
16th and 17th, people be there or be square.
Yeah.
And if you want to do something in the pleasure of your own home, I can tell you that 1 o'clock on the 11th, my committee, Professional Development and Education, is going to be holding a forum on by Zoom, and we're going to be talking about all things trust and probate because I kind of have a special soft spot in my heart for that, in my technical heart for those things. And, the more that you can learn to better serve clients that are in a spot where usually there's some hand holding that's very, very needed. And a lot of things that people do not realize they need to know before they walk in to talk to somebody about listing a home where it's either the owner or it's a family member that they've inherited the property. They don't know what they don't know. And it's amazing how many agents don't know what they don't know. And so, should be about an hour's worth of time. Come join us. Well, I'll put the info in the nerdy group. So that's about all I got. 10 o'clock on the 8th.
10 o'clock
Anything
on
you
the
got,
8th.
Lori? Any hot tips? Hot tips for the CAR meetings?
Not yet. I thought we were going to talk about it on the 8th.
Well, that we're going to get into detail. But see, I'm putting out that placeholder right now. The
Okay.
11th at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's because it's my committee.
Yeah, there's a few like standard forms will be on Zoom that week before no, it's the week we're there because it conflicts with our meeting, so we can't.
They have not learned yet.
No, no.
They haven't learned a lot of things because we
Yeah, I
still
think
don't
we're
have that,
broadcasting it.
seller's homeowner's insurance disclosure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure what other sessions are live streamed.
Yeah, well, we'll get that schedule out. So, as we get it, we'll put it out so you can put a placeholder on it. And then we will talk about what is going to be covered in all of these things. Because just like all good conferences and meetings, there's always a topic du jour. Inman's topic du jour was AI. Not quite sure what our topic du jour is going to be. Ours change a little bit more often, whatever's making our technical hair on fire.
Yeah, we have our director pre-meeting the week of the 10th, so I haven't dug in to see yet what
Neither have I.
items are that we're discussing.
Never know. Never know. All righty. Well, kids, we're going to wrap this puppy up here. We are a minute before 10 o'clock, but all good things do have to come to an end. And this is one of them. So thank you for
For
being here
today. Not forever, just today.
just today. Yes. And we will have this posted in the Facebook group. How long it will be there, that all depends on how Mark Zuckerberg's feeling today. So, but we shall live on here in YouTube. We're going to keep this channel active. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. I don't do the hokey stuff like most of these YouTube things do. you're gonna die if you don't see this. Nah, you know what? You're just gonna be disappointed in yourself. That's all. So